Hi, Evangeline and Belina. Hi, friends. Today is the 4th of July. And let's be patriotic, shall we? So let me give you a little history lesson. I used to homeschool my children, and I have a couple history books. So I'm going to read just a little bit so that children out there and even parents out there, sometimes we don't always know the history. Sometimes we learned it in school and, we're older. I mean, I'm 41. I don't always remember everything, but what helped me learn a lot about my government and my country was actually homeschooling my children, getting books from the library, understanding the amendments, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution a little bit more, understanding what freedom means. And that's helped me so much because I learned a lot about civil rights and I learned a lot about affirmative action and how to fight and speak up against injustices in the world when it comes to prejudice, racism, and discrimination. So if you learn your laws, if you learn your government, you can fight the legal way. You can fight with your brain power. So let's use our brain power today, shall we? And let's learn something. So today is the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July. It's the American Independence Day. Here, I'm reading from Harcourt Social Studies book. This is for 4th grade. It says states and regions. And we're going to start with the Declaration of Independence. What's that? Let's learn. In 1776, 56 representatives signed the Declaration of Independence in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Today, Americans celebrate this event as the birth of our nation. The Declaration is a symbol of our nation's history and liberty, freedom. It says, study these primary sources and answer the questions, primary sources of history. On the final draft of the Declaration, John Hancock's signature is the largest and easiest to read. Why was it important for the representatives to sign the Declaration? Why do you think we sign documents? It makes it official, right? It means that these people were present and they were in agreement of the Constitution, which states our freedoms. We have the freedom of speech, we have the freedom of press, we have freedom of religion, one nation under God. We are free in the United States to just follow certain practices and beliefs that we choose. That's why a lot of people immigrate to the United States. They come here from other countries because they're not allowed to practice their religion, or they're not allowed to be free in a certain way. Maybe there's war and violence, and they're trying to seek safety. So we have to think of, well, why do people come to this country? I will talk a little bit about that in a bit, okay? So they sort of made rules of what it means to be free, of how they wanted the government and the United States to be run. So Jefferson's desk. Thomas Jefferson wrote most of the Declaration of Independence. Why do you think Jefferson needed a travel desk? Need a little travel desk here. And it says, first draft of the Declaration, Jefferson's travel desk. First draft. That's good. Whenever we write down something, we can make mistakes. So we need to edit it. We need to correct mistakes. Maybe it's not the way we wanted it to be. Maybe one of the laws or maybe what they wrote didn't exactly state what they wanted to state based on freedom. So we have the Bill of Rights, we have amendments, we have the Constitution. All falls under the American Constitution, really. Here's the Independence Hall. Representatives debated and signed the Declaration in the room of Independence Hall in Philadelphia. Why might it be important for the representatives to meet in one room? Well, they need to discuss real issues, right? We have the House of Representatives and the Senate who meet, and they talk about laws. They talk about things that are going on in the United States. They talk about, should we pass this new law? Should we pass this new bill? Do we bring it up to the president so that he can review it? What are we going to do to solve some of the American problems? So it's good for them to meet in one room, right? So that everybody can be in agreement and talk about their concerns and voice their opinions, because they're the ones representing us. They're the ones representing the voice. So we, as citizens, can go to City Hall to the mayor's meetings and voice our concerns. You can also get a petition going and sign it and present it. And then from the mayor, it can go to the governor of the state. And from the governor, it can go to the House of Representatives and the Senate. The House of Representatives are representing our states. And then it can go to the president. So one person, one vote, one voice. If one person says this is wrong, I think we need to change this because it's violating our human rights, and this is how, then you can create a petition. You can sign it. There can be movement. All it takes is one person to say, I think this is violating my rights as a human being. And it goes against the Constitution. If you can prove in the Supreme Court that someone's violating your rights against the Constitution, you'll win your case. The Supreme Court is meant to be there to make sure that all the laws passed are fair and that all judgments in the law are not violating citizen rights. Okay, so Centennial Medal. In 1876, medals were made to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. It had 13 stars for the 13 colonies, the first states over on the East Coast. Why do you think Liberty is pointing to 13 stars? That's exactly it. It represents the first 13 colonies, the 13 states. All right. So I'm going to share a poem in here that's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So let's start with this poem. America Is. Written by Lewis Borden. Illustrated by Stacy Shewitt. Not long ago, school children in England asked American author. Actually, it would be Louise because it has an E. Louise Borden. What is it like to live in America? This poem is Borden's answer. Read now how Borden celebrates the people of the United States, their land, and their ideas. It could be Louis or Louise. It's one of those names like Robin. Is it female or is it male? America is. America is our country. It is the place we call home. We are the nation whose name means freedom. To people all over the world, America is. 50 states, from the Atlantic coast to the Pacific Ocean and beyond. The United States of America. America is the swamps and bayous of the deep south, and ponds that glimmer from east to west, and lakes so huge and deep they seem as big as an ocean, and rushing streams and creeks and brooks, and rivers that are long and wide, that bring our states together as one vast land from the Hudson to the Ohio, to the Mississippi, to the Columbia. This is America. And America is the prairie, tall grass and wind and stars. Listen, this is America. America is the stone walls of New England, the forest of the Northwest, the osprey and oysters of the Chesapeake Bay, and Minnesota winters 10 degrees below zero and sometimes colder. The West and its ranches are part of this nation too, with 10-gallon hats and boots and spurs, with herds of cattle and lassos in cowboys' hands. Rodeo, yippee, yay. This is America. America is rugged mountains with caps of snow and deserts that are hot and dry, 110 degrees in the shade. It is a nation where 50 states meet, where we are all one. What's America to you? The thing is, America can be so many things to different people. This is what this author felt represented America. But there's so much more to it. First of all, let's talk about our indigenous peoples too. The Native Americans were the first Americans here. Everybody else immigrated here. People from Europe immigrated here. People from Mexico. Well, Mexican people were already in California and the bottom states. This was once part of Mexico. But I want you to remember that America is actually built off of immigrants. Because how did the 13 colonies form? They came from England. They came from London. They came from Spain. They came from France. The people that created the 13 colonies and the Constitution were not natives to this land. They immigrated here. This land is native land. But this land is now the United States made of immigrants. Here you have the Statue of Liberty. A French sculptor made this. And you know what the torch was for? It was there to welcome immigrants to the United States of America. It was there to torch, to put a light out, to say, here's the United States of America. We can help you. That's what this represented in New York. It was welcoming people from different places to come to the United States of America and lighting the way. The Statue of Liberty represents freedom for all. It's a welcome sign for immigrants because our land is made of immigrants. The United States is built off of people from different countries. Think about it. People from England, people from France, people from Spain started the colonies. Mexican people, we were already here actually in the southern states. The natives were already here also. In the East Coast, in the northern states, in the southern states. You had people coming in from Russia, from Ireland, from Italy, from China, from Japan. You had slaves brought here from Africa, not on their own accord. They didn't ask to come here. They were brought here against their will and taken from their families. But they are a part of our history and are part of our country. And thank God for Abraham Lincoln and his Emancipation Proclamation and the American Revolution, where he said, hey, the Constitution says freedom for all, so what are we doing having slave states? This goes against the Constitution. Slavery is against the Constitution. Thank God for Abraham Lincoln. Thank God for the Civil Rights Movement. Thank God for freedom. See, the thing here is that freedom comes from God. He gives us something called free will. We have a choice. Am I going to use my power for good or am I going to use my power for evil? Guess what? I want to use my voice for good. I want to use my power for evil. And sometimes we can have a bad day and we can let the best, we can let really bad moments get to us. And we may not like how we react in that moment or say things we don't mean. Sometimes it's better to stay quiet. Sometimes it's better just to sleep on it and think about it in the morning. Sometimes it's better to observe and do your research and then speak. Because we don't want to regret something that we're going to say or do. But we're all human. We are all human. And it's okay to say, I'm sorry if I offended you. Or I'm sorry if I misjudged you. But today, guess what? The United States is in unison. We're all celebrating something. We are celebrating freedom. Today's going to be a good day. I feel it in my heart. And I pray to God that He protects everyone and everyone out there is safe with the fireworks and your barbecues and your hot dogs and your hamburgers. Because Because I thought about it this morning and I'm like, what is American food? When I think of American food, I think of burgers and hot dogs. Correct me if I'm wrong. But think about the cuisines that you eat in the United States of America. You eat Chinese food, you pick up some tacos, you eat Mexican food, you pick up Italian food when you pick up pizza. What's actually American food? I don't know. I just think of hot dogs and burgers. What do you think? What do you eat at home? Everybody's traditions are different. That doesn't make it wrong. And then there's native food. And then there's indigenous food, indigenous food based on your country or your culture. But in the United States, you can eat all kinds of cultural foods: Indian food, Moroccan food, Greek food, Cuban food, Mexican food, Salvadoreño food. I mean, I've eaten all kinds of food. I don't know about you, but I think I just love culture and food because that's what's built America now. How many of your immigrants here, which is, oh yeah, everybody except the Native Americans and some of the Mexicans already here on the southern states. So basically everybody's an immigrant is what I'm trying to say. So let's be nice to each other because at one point we all needed to move and we all needed help. At one point in our lives, we all needed help, have we not? So let's just be kind to each other because in the end, we're all one human race. We all share 3% DNA. Did you know that? I might not look like you, but I'm 3% related to everyone in the world because I'm human. We're the same species. So you are 3% my brother or sister. Take it or leave it. I'll take it. You're all my brothers and sisters in God anyways. Hi, family. I have a huge family. It's called the whole world. I'm 3% related to everybody. Ta-da! We're all related. All right, so continuing on with today's lesson. I want to teach you a little bit about Francis Scott Key. Here's a quote. I saw the flag of my country waving over a city, the strength and pride of my native state. Francis Scott Key was born in Maryland in 1779. In 1814, British soldiers attacked the United States. At first, Key was opposed to the war. However, Key's love of country quickly inspired him to join the fight and serve as a general's aide. The British captured Key's friend, Dr. William Beans. They held him prisoner on a ship in Baltimore Harbor. Key went to the ship to get Beans released. The British agreed to release him. Even so, they held Keys and Beans on the ship until after the British attack on Fort McHenry, which guarded the harbor. The attack lasted for 25 hours. All the while, Key kept his eyes on the fort flag. As long as it flew, Americans still held the fort. During the night, silence fell. At dawn, Key saw that the American flag still flew over Fort McHenry. The British then freed Key and Beans. On their boat trip home, Key wrote the poem that became known as the Star-Spangled Banner. How do you show patriotism? Patriotism is when you are proud of the country that you live in. I'm going to be honest. There have been a lot of moments that I wasn't proud of my country. Of this flag, and I'm going to tell you why. Because there's been a lot of times where I've experienced discrimination and racism. There's been a lot of times that my rights have been violated. My rights are being violated right now as a mother, as a parent, the Department of Children and Family Services. My rights have been violated because somebody has used my medical benefits and my Social Security and they think it's okay to fraud me. How can I have trust in a government that's allowing someone to fraud? I spent my years disappointed in my country. So I choose to speak up against the injustices. Not just for myself, but for others. This is Esmeralda Teresa Hernandez Polanco. The real Esmeralda Teresa Hernandez Polanco. Born Esmeralda Teresa Hernandez at Santa Monica Hospital in 1983, January 15th. I'm originally born and raised Los Angeles County girl, Cali girl. I've lived in Florida, I've lived in Montana, but the bulk of my life has been here in California. I am a US citizen, and in working with an immigration lawyer, I have a copy of the INA that says once you are a citizen born on this land, nobody can take your citizenship away. So why would anyone think it's okay to give my social security to somebody else? Why would anyone think it's okay to give my citizenship rights to somebody else? That's what confuses me about my government. It's against immigration law acts. It's illegal. It's illegal to use somebody's citizenship status or social security or medical benefits. It's illegal to use somebody's persona and falsely represent them in court. That's a huge felony. But God is on my side, and I pray for justice every day. The people who need to be corrected by the law will do so. I have a social security status, and I was born a U.S. citizen here in California. And legally, you can never take my citizenship status away or my social security because I'm a native to the land. Amen to that. Citizenship. What's citizenship? Being a good citizen, being honest, respecting your neighbors, following the laws. Let's be good citizens. Symbolisms of patriotism. Taking care of our earth. Hats off. Along the street there comes a blare of bugles, a ruffle of drums, the flash of color beneath the sky. Hats off. The flag is passing by. From The Flag Goes by Henry Holcomb Bennett. These poetic words describe a symbol of patriotism for the United States, the American flag. Symbols stand for important ideas or beliefs. Some symbols can be seen and touched, such as flags and statues. Other symbols cannot always be seen or touched, but they certainly affect our feelings. They include songs, poems, and mottos. The American flag is one of our country's best known symbols of patriotism. It has been a symbol since the creation of the first official American flag in 1777. Pledge of Allegiance. Many people show patriotism by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. See this? You recite the Pledge of Allegiance every day when you're a child at school, right? You stand up in the morning and you start. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation. Listen to this for a second. One nation under God, indivisible. Indivisible, meaning we're not going to be divided. We're going to be united. With liberty and justice for all. Freedom and justice. I grew up here. And I went to St. Martha's Elementary. And we would line up every day outside. And one of the students would raise the flag every single day. And we would say the Pledge of Allegiance. And then we would pray as a school. Because I went to a Catholic school as a child in high school. We would pray as a school every day. We were blessed to have that kind of education and that kind of upbringing. I was raised by my family and educated by nuns to be patriotic when they raised the flag every morning and to trust in God. How many of you know that? It says, in God we trust as a nation. But how many of us don't pray to God? I was raised with patriotism and prayer and God, thanks to the Sisters of the Love of God. Americans also have other symbols that express their patriotism. Each symbol has a special meaning. Each one reminds us about ideas or beliefs that are part of patriotism. The Liberty Bell was rung on July 8th, 1776, to celebrate the first public reading of the Declaration of Independence. The bell is a reminder of the freedom for which Americans have been and are willing to fight. Did you know that they actually made 3 of these and they kept cracking because they were so heavy? The Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor is another symbol. It reminds people the United States offers freedom and opportunities to people all over the world. So here's your Liberty Bell, and it hangs in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania today. The bald eagle. The bald eagle was made the national bird of the United States in 1782. This is actually my dad's favorite animal. The Statue of Liberty holds a lighted torch that represents liberty, welcoming everyone to the United States. Because we want to be friends to all, do we not? Okay, so I'm proud to be an American because this is where I was born. But people also know me as Mexico Girl. I'm proud to be Mexican because California was once part of Mexico and this is my native land, this is my heritage, this is my indigenous roots. I'm also proud to be Mexican. I wasn't born in Mexico, but I have family in Mexico. And my blood still carries Mexican blood. I'm proud to be both. I'm proud to be Mexican American. And as an American, it's my duty to speak up against injustices. So you'll be seeing my face regularly, whether you want to or not. So before I play the Star Spangled Banner, let's just listen to this poem, which became a song, right? By Francis Scott Key, illustrated by Jesse Reish. Oh, say can you see, by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars, the flag, through the perilous fight, the fight for freedom, or the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. We're talking about war. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Do we know? Do we know what our flag represents? Blue for justice, white for purity, red for courage and bravery. And our stars represent one star for each state. I'm going to go ahead and play the Star Spangled Banner before we end today. This one says Whitney Houston, Star Spangled Banner, National Anthem, Super Bowl 1991. This is why the flag is raised, and a really big sports event because it brings people together. All right. So let's start. It's 1 minute long. Hopefully you can hear it. God bless you. Have a good day. I love you, Evangeline and Belina. I love you, little friends.